This is BTV, Business Television. Discover companies to invest in.
Today on BTV, your digital ID, gold, palladium, cryptocurrency, and helium.
Hello, I'm Taylor Tone.
And I'm Jessica Kaczmarczyk. Welcome to BTV Business Television.
Today, we're featuring a diverse collection of investment opportunities, including a more secure way to invest in cryptocurrencies, resurrecting an old gold mine, a palladium project aiming to be the largest palladium mine in Canada,
plus building your personal avatar as your digital ID. And we'll explore new uses for helium.
But first, why ESG, or environmental, social, and governance, is becoming a focus for savvy investors.
There is a direct link between company performance and therefore investors' ability to make a judgment about company performance and what they disclose in terms of environmental, social, and governance performance of their companies. Investors, they're not going to care whether or not you're small cap, therefore we can, cut you some slack. They need the information to make a decision about whether to invest in you or not. If you don't have that information out there for them, then they just have to move on to your peer who does. The leaders create the new normal. It's time now for us to see ESG as the new normal.
Any commodity facing growing demand and dwindling supply is a cause for concern. Helium is no exception. But if you're an emerging producer of helium, like Desert Mountain Energy, the situation is an opportunity in more ways than one. This company is taking a very forward-looking approach to the helium business.
We have focused specifically on going after helium in Northeast Arizona in the most green and environmentally friendly way that we can possibly do that, through creating the smallest carbon footprint. My goal is to be the leader in the helium space by building a fully vertically integrated company. We do every step of the process. We decide where to drill, we drill the well, complete the well, produce it, take the product, process it, and sell it to the end user. One-stop shopping.
Best known as a lifting gas, the use of helium has greatly diversified. Cooling magnets and MRI systems now account for 30% of all helium consumption. From helping launch rockets to driving antibiotics deep into the lungs of COVID patients, uses for helium continue to be discovered.
It really becomes more and more important in our lives every day. And that's where our opportunity lies. You have to have more drilling. I started working on this in 1999, off and on, so I put a lot of time and a lot of energy into really understanding what is the actual trapping mechanism for commercial volumes of helium. You can always find little bits, 1 or 2%, but my goal has been to find increased amounts.
Globally, the average well produces under 3 to 4% helium. In Arizona's Holbrook Basin, where Desert Mountain has been exploring, some existing wells have produced around 8% helium on average. Desert Mountain's drilling compares very favorably.
The first 2 wells that we had excellent flow rates, and we had helium values of 5 and to an excess of 7% on the first well. So it confirmed, and we're looking at something to run in excess of 15 years. Very, very steady. And the Holbrook Basin is not tied up with hexane, pentanes, methane, and all the other hydrocarbon molecules. It's tied up with basically what we breathe. 75% is nitrogen. So when you are venting, you're not harming the environment.
In addition to minimizing environmental impact in production, Desert Mountain is doing the same in the processing of helium, which is normally very energy intensive. Instead of relying on the power grid, they're harnessing nearly 270 sunshine days per year.
It's a gift. Why not use this? There's a newer type of solar panel that's been made that uses approximately 92% less lead, 47% less cadmium, and 63% less selenium, all known carcinogens which are in every photovoltaic cell.
With the processing plant nearing completion, 2021 is a year of milestones for the company.
Earlier this year, we had just completed the acceleration of warrants to help bring in all the money that we need to finish doing all of our drilling and production for this year. Towards the end of the year, we will actually be going into operation.
The exploration and development of Desert Mountain Energy's helium deposits will supply U.S. domestic end users with high-grade helium in a commodity experiencing supply constraints.
Coming up next on BTV.
Governments, both in North America and around the world, are starting to take digital identity very seriously.
And later in the show,
it's not a medal of the future, it's a medal of now.
We'll be right back. You're watching BTV.
welcome back to BTV. Coming to terms with blockchain, DeFi or decentralized finance, and NFTs or non-fungible tokens is a challenge for many investors. But choosing to ignore the world of digital assets is not an investment strategy. That much was clear for the CEO of Tokens.com, a company committed to making the crypto business greener, faster, and more accessible.
I was an investment banker for 2 decades, and back in 2016, I got fascinated with blockchain technology. That led me at the time to be a co-founder of a very large crypto miner called Hut 8. I took my experiences there to create Tokens.com, and Tokens.com does virtually the exact same work as a crypto miner, except we use 99.9% less electricity. We use ownership of the underlying token instead to vote transactions and validate them, instead of using expensive hardware and vast electricity use to do the same work.
Tokens.com is in the business of securing modern blockchains like Ethereum 2.0 and Polkadot. The proof of stake or staking process that's used is next generation technology.
It's almost the evolution between a flip phone that we used to use, decades ago, to smartphones. The capabilities of a smartphone now allow you to do so many different and new things that the old technology of phones didn't allow you to do. The evolution to staking is the same thing. Blockchain crypto technology used in mining today is 12 years old. It only processes about 15 transactions per second. Proof of stake technology, which is what we deploy, processes 100,000 transactions per second. And if you're concerned about things like energy use in the crypto mining space, then we are a great alternative.
Blockchains need companies like Tokens.com to be third-party validators to power the digital assets that power decentralized finance. And that's what Tokens.com is compensated for.
We have a great revenue model. We focus on supporting the blockchains that support decentralized finance and non-fungible tokens because we know those are booming industries. So we perform these transaction validation services for various blockchains, and they pay us in additional tokens. Those tokens that they pay us count as our revenue, and we store them in our inventory as they continue to appreciate.
It's the appreciation of the company's digital asset inventory that investors are investing in. And Andrew Kegel is well aware there is crypto hesitancy some people need to overcome.
The biggest challenge is that there is short-term volatility in the space. For a lot of new people coming to the space, this can be intimidating, it can be scary. For people who have been in the blockchain technology space for many years, we've seen this before, but we know that the potential is there to revolutionize everything happening in the finance world, which is due for a shakeup. Digital asset space and blockchain is here to stay. The entire world is going digital, and we are at the forefront of that evolution.
Though Tokens.com only started in 2020, their platform has accelerated rapidly.
We are revenue positive, we are income positive, and poised to really capitalize on all of these exciting things that are happening in the blockchain technology world. Ultimately, we want to be the go-to name for people looking to get exposure in the cryptocurrency area. They can just buy tokens.com. We do all the work. We take the burden of securing it, buying it, and doing all the transactions on their behalf. And it's a very easy way for them to get that exposure.
For a deeper dive into proof of stake and how it's changing the digital asset space, visit the company's website. They're at tokens.com.
Coming up next on BTV.
One account, one person. That's the way we do things to ensure that only you can manage your individual data.
And later in the show,
we now see near 3 million ounces of gold and silver in 3 zones that have this mineralization directly at surface.
We'll be right back. You're watching BTV.
Welcome back to BTV. Nearly 60% of the global population are internet users, and more aspects of our daily life take place in the digital world. That's why a company called Liquid Avatar Technologies believes each of us needs to pay more attention to the risks threatening the integrity of our digital identity.
The primary focus of Liquid Avatar is to empower users to manage, control, and benefit from their digital identity. Every day in the news, we hear about COVID passports, identity fraud, all these different things around digital identity. And we believe that the stake in the ground that we planted 3 years ago is really starting to create value for us. We haven't moved that stake, and we believe the market is moving towards us because regulations are now supporting the fact that users have to manage and control their digital identity.
The Liquid Avatar mobile app was launched in February 2021. While updates and expanded services will be phased in over the next year, the mobile app is already providing each user with proof of identity and security.
At Liquid Avatar, you can have multiple avatars, but only one account. One account, one person. That's the way we do things to ensure that only you can manage your individual data. Now, we never sell or rent data. The company has no access to the data. It's all biometrically controlled for the user. Everyone is a real user. Everyone's a real person. Why is that important? Because we want to make sure that only users are providing verifiable credentials to constituents in the marketplace to prove who they are online and to share what they want, when they want, and with whom they want.
So what does it cost to use the Liquid Avatar app? And how does the company generate revenue?
We never charge our users for any of the services we provide. How we end up benefiting from that is by our marketing and our vendor relationships. But because you are you and you've proven you are you, marketers are willing to do more with you. When users engage, we then get paid by the marketer.
While the adoption of the Liquid Avatar mobile app will be accelerated by users and marketers, David Lukács sees at least 2 significant influencers that he believes will really make a difference.
I think the industries that will drive the change for consumers to really adopt the process of managing and controlling their digital identity will be 2. One, governments. Many governments, both in North America and around the world, are starting to take digital identity very seriously. They see it as an opportunity to empower their citizens and create more accountability between the government and its constituents. I think that's number 1. Number 2, I think the travel industry. Given what's gone on with COVID, I think it's imperative that the industry comes together to create a system that will allow users to travel freely, allow industry to know that everyone is safe, and make everyone in the ecosystem accountable.
As the Liquid Avatar mobile app continues to evolve as a very gamified, engaging platform where users can earn different rewards and participate in a cashback program, it's guided by a very clear mission.
We want to make the online experience safer. We believe that everyone will manage to control their online identity and their personal data. And because it's being supported by both governments, regulatory bodies, and industry. So at this point in time, consumers have no choice in the future but to, basically have a wallet to control. We are just launching our digital wallets now, so users can control and carry credentials. So we want to be their choice, and we believe we have an opportunity to win in the marketplace.
To experience Liquid Avatar Mobile, download it from the Apple App Store or Google Play. For more information about the company, you can visit them at liquidavatartechnologies.com.
I would anticipate with the global monetary policies being very loose, that you're going to see gold continue to climb. Over the past 20 years, gold has climbed at, I think it's about a 9% CAGR year over year. So I think we're going to continue to see gold climb long term, march its way closer to 3,000. Certainly it's going to be over the course of the next decade.
Over the past 3 years, Benchmark Metals has been advancing the Lawyers Gold and Silver project. But the question is why? True is located in north-central British Columbia's prolific Golden Horseshoe and is a former producer. But that was over 30 years ago. So what's changed?
The difference in this story this time is it's not high-grade underground mining. All the work during 2020 and previous years have all contributed to a large new mineral resource estimate that we just published. We now see near 3 million ounces of gold and silver in 3 zones that have this mineralization directly at surface.
Equally noteworthy is an abundance of existing infrastructure.
We have road access right to site. With the Kemess mine sitting nearby, adjacent to us, there's a very logical tie-in point for electricity at the British Columbia power grid. In addition to that, there's areas where the former mill and plant were sitting, and they also help with establishing brand new infrastructure.
Benchmark Metals has recently signed agreements with their 3 First Nations partners. The company's next milestone will be the release this summer of a preliminary economic assessment.
This PEA will demonstrate robust economics and a long mine life. We're aiming for production well in excess of 100,000 ounces per year over perhaps what could be 10-year mine life or longer. The beauty of this project is with this new near 3 million ounce resource, it still remains open. There will be more drilling this year to define and expand these 3 zones.
Once there's an updated resource estimate in 2022 and a feasibility study, Benchmark Metals will have to make the go to mine decision. Coming up next on BTV.
The world needs about 11 million ounces a year for automobiles, and we're only producing 10.
We'll be right back. You're watching BTV.
Welcome back to BTV. With tougher emission standards already mandated in China and India following suit, millions of new cars with internal combustion engines will require more powerful catalytic converters, which require palladium. This is great news for Generation Mining and their Marathon project in northwestern Ontario.
Almost all palladium is used in catalytic converters in automobiles, and what it does is scrub out the emissions. It scrubs out carbon monoxide, nitrous oxide, unburned fuel. It's not a metal of the future, it's a metal of now. It's been used in cars now for over 20 years, and it will be used for the foreseeable future.
But there's a problem. Not enough palladium is being produced.
The world needs about 11 million ounces a year for automobiles, and we're only producing 10. The world is desperate for a couple of new mines to come on to alleviate that problem. We're trying to take advantage of this opportunity because the typical palladium mine is in South Africa or Russia, and they take up to 7 or 8 years to get going into production. Ours can get going within 2 years, so it can start alleviating the problem a lot sooner.
The project is located just outside Marathon, Ontario. It's right off the Trans-Canada Highway. It has power and the support of the local community and the First Nations. And according to the feasibility study published in March, the mine will be a significant producer of palladium and more.
So once this mine's in full production, it's going to average about 150,000 ounces of palladium a year and about 40 million pounds of copper, along with 40,000 ounces of platinum. It's a large mine. It's going to be able to produce palladium for just around $800 an ounce. The current palladium price is about $2,800 an ounce, so it's going to have a phenomenal profit margin. It's going to cost about $520 million US to build. And at today's copper prices and today's palladium prices, the payback on this mine should be less than a year and a half.
That shorter than average payback time, combined with a projected 13-year mine life and several other factors, is why Generation Mining has been noticed by a well-known metals market authority.
I think Generation Mining's life of the mine, I think, fits very well to where they're going to be able to capitalize on palladium at its peak demand. The valuation of their deposits has gone up nearly 30% and will continue to climb. I think they're poised well. The sooner they can get started, the better. I think they're sitting on an ideal deposit. I'm very pro Generation Mining.
If engineering, financing, and permitting go as planned, mine construction should begin later in 2022. The mill should be running by early 2024, with full production 4 to 6 months later.
This mine, in its first 2 years, is expected to have free cash flow of about $700 million. In the years following that, it'll range from $150 to $250 million a year for the life of the mine. And that is at base case metal prices of $17.25 palladium and $3.20 copper. At today's metal prices, you can almost double those numbers.
But those numbers aren't the only thing on Kerry Knowles' mind. He's proud that this will be one of the greenest palladium mines in the world, powered by the 96% carbon-free Ontario electricity grid. And that's not all.
This is it. This is my last. I've retired 4 times. The reason I named this company Generation Mining was because I want to try to provide a mine that will last for an entire generation, provide for the town, provide for the shareholders, provide for everybody. And that's what our goal is, and that's what we're in the process of doing.
The Marathon Palladium project will be one of the top 10 largest precious metal mines in Canada. To learn more, Generation Mining is under the symbol GENM on the TSX exchange.
Cryptocurrency, proof of stake, and avatar for your digital identity? I guess this is the future.
Well, that and still old-fashioned mining, but done in more modern ways with a focus on ESG, environmental, social,
and governance. Thanks for joining us today. For BTV, I'm Jessica Kasperchak.
And I'm Taylor Tone. Until next time, may your portfolio prosper.